Governing Artificial Intelligence in Higher Education, Institutional AI Governance Logics in US Universities. So here he has taken a look at AI policies of top 10 universities in the US and has done a critical discourse analysis. Haris will take approximately around 15 minutes, and then we can move on to our second presentation. So without any further delay, I would like to invite Dr. Rahman.
While I was in the USA, I taught one course and carried out this research. So I'm going to present the findings of my research. You can see governing artificial intelligence in higher education, institutional AI governance logic in US universities. You can rightly ask why US universities, why not Bangladesh universities? Unfortunately, we don't have any AI policy in Bangladesh. But this will definitely give us certain understanding how we can create our own policy from the best practices from the best universities in the United States. Universities are shifting from AI adoption to AI governance. So it's not only whether they will take it or not. Instead, they have already taken it. Now they are governing it, how to streamline AI across the university ecosystem. So this study examines how AI policy construct governance and power using critical discourse analysis. So I have three research questions to guide the study. How is generative AI constructed in the university policy discourse, and how AI policy reorganize power, authority, and governance in higher education, and the broader implications of AI of knowledge, pedagogy, and platform dependency. I have used high conceptual lens to explain AI policies. Many of the established thinkers, philosophers you are familiar with. So for disciplinary power in the policy, how who actually who frames AI policy. Policies sometimes come from the top without taking faculty or students' voice, right? So we'll see that how administrators or IT department actually, in the top-down approach, and they provide this policy, and that accommodates all. Here are the 5 governance logic. So I found it like the Princeton University. It was mostly, like I said, Foucauldian surveillance approach, or mostly rule-based disciplinary measures, very strict terms they are using in their AI policy phase, where restriction through explicit rules. System-based, MIT is very much system-based, where technical system is like the prime position, and software, everything goes through software. They have identified certain software, this list you can use, but any creation that must go through the software.
Task force to consider an NSU policy on the use of generative AI in teaching, learning, and research. So our task force is working on that. We have representative faculty and some students on the task force, and 2 working groups currently trying to do all of this. So we're trying to generate a policy. I think it's most likely going to go in the direction of something such as you characterized from Duke, which is a little bit more democratic in terms of the autonomy that's associated with that. But I think you provided a very important overview of the kinds of policies that we might consider.
Research Talk Series that is being kicked off today, it will survive, and hopefully we will have a working paper series or something along that line. And not just this one, we also have a faculty seminar series at our school. So I'll be very honored to have your presentation as part of that series. We also have a study circle. So if anyone is reading any book, you want to do some presentation, you want to discuss it with colleagues, I think this will be a good platform.
He said imagined nations, like how do we think of ourselves as being part of a nation? Like we don't meet everyone in our nation. We don't know them individually. But Benedict Anderson talked about how there's this idea of a nation, right? That is all of us imagine ourselves to be part of a community, which is what gives us our idea of nationhood, right? That all of us are connected. We have similar ideology, similar culture, and that makes us think of ourselves as part of a community, even though we don't individually know all these people, but we still consider themselves to be part of the same community, right? So essentially building off of that, Abadroy talked about the idea of the production of locality and how we imagine a world we are all a part of. the multiple worlds which are constituted by the historically situated imaginations of persons and groups spread around the globe. So that is sort of playing with this idea of media. Everything feels personal, it's not really personal. Everything feels local, it's not really local. But social media sort of creates this idea of locality, right? That all of us are producing a specific type of content. That when we think of Bangladeshi content producers, you think of a specific kind of content they're producing, right? Even though they're not necessarily connected to each other. So I had 3 main research objectives. Like I said, it's a working taker. So for the first phase, I conducted a rhetorical analysis, which is what today's presentation is based on. But I also plan on this becoming a broader content analysis. So I think that will also address so many of the research, the 3 of the research objectives here. So one, I wanted to understand how Bangladesh was being represented online as a result of the work of these content creators. To investigate the strategies Bangladeshi content creators are employing to compete in social media platforms and navigating around these platform logics, which can be very confusing for us to understand. And also how social media content communicates expected behaviors and actions to Bangladeshi consumers, and that ultimately shapes our ideas of social class, aspirations, personal success, that sort of thing, right?
Research questions, I think it was a bit too many. If you're doing your research, I think it should be more focused. You're doing and took too many dimensions, the research will become quite fuzzy. That's the only 2 observations. Otherwise, it's pretty interesting stuff.
Yep. An approach from Bruno Latour with emerging communities. Or you just use first to just only to introduce the readers, just like an orientation. And okay, I understand. Another question is, I thought that the hyper reality of Jean Valdier is more appropriate for your research, because hyper reality gives us an idea of how we have been living in a kind of a false sense of reality.
AI, you are doing it, the committee for and the other part, what you are all discussing about the content delivery part of it, how they receive it, how much they retain it, how they can explain to other, what kind of knowledge they receive it, to what you generate, what you deliver. So those kind of things we have to really think through. And I think that is a project we're doing on that. So hopefully at some point in less than a year, you will see that difference. About the lecture you have done in lecture, but you have to come up with something that a recommendation for that. I think they could use it, because you dedicate your time to take 10 top university and 5 you focus on it. I thank you. It is really an exciting time to really interact and learn, especially communication and the media control people's mind. We'd like to see more and more things, how you really create opinion, at least for NSU people. Just to create opinion about the higher administration and the policy and others, so we can act from there. Thank you very much.